Hey guys, it's Fred and Sheila McCoy. We're at the Hatfield McCoy Museum in Liberty, Kentucky. FredMcCoy.com. Sheila's behind the camera.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great day.
This is going to be another segment of Keeping It Real. This is going to be Keeping It Real, of course, is where we've heard something, been told something, seen something, or watched something on YouTube or TikTok or something, and it's not correct, or it's false, or it's fake, or it's completely fabricated. So this is going to be Keeping It Real. This may be a lengthy video. We did this video yesterday. It turned out to be 2 hours long.
It was a long video.
So we went back and we've cut a bunch of stuff out. Interesting stuff to us, and probably interesting to most of you guys out there, but not the majority probably. So history buffs will love this one. If you like seeing things corrected, you're going to love it. If you're part of whoever wrote this stuff up, you're going to hate us.
It might be in 2 parts, or we're going to try to do it all in 1 part.
We'll just have to wait and see. It
Okay.
may be in 2 parts, or it's according to what Sheila decides.
Okay.
Sheila will show you a picture there.
Okay guys, here you go.
And that's what today's topic is going to be on. That is the new monument that they just put up on Crazy Jim Vance's grave. Crazy Jim Vance, of course, was known for Crazy Jim, Bad Jim, Uncle Jim, Big Jim. There's all kinds of things he was known as. Sheila and I was sitting around the house the other day before yesterday, and I got a text. I got 3 texts, in fact, from different people, but text said, have you seen the video that's out on Jim Vance's tombstone? And told us where it was at, and we went and started watching it, taking notes.
Yep.
And in the meantime, he wrote back and said, looks like stolen valor. And stolen valor is where you claim to be in the military and you're not, and so forth. And we've got a video coming out on that before long on a case of possible stolen valor. That'll be out later on. But this one here is on Jim Vance. Okay. And the video, the gentleman doing the video, doesn't care a lot for us, because we've corrected many people. Again, if we correct you and we're in the wrong, contact us and we'll apologize and make the proper corrections to us.
Right.
But if we correct you and you're in the wrong, we're sorry. Maybe try to do a better job with your so-called research, and we'll do the same. And again, Sheila and I welcome people to correct us when we make mistakes.
Sure, please do.
And we do make mistakes.
All the time.
I make them all the time. Sheila has to correct me. I get my names mixed up, so it's easy to do.
Yeah.
Now, there's a difference in a mistake, an accident, or spreading something that's just not the truth, or that you might should have investigated a little bit better. We're going to discuss the video on Jim Vance's tombstone, and they have put up a military-style tombstone for Jim Vance. Yeah. They've put up a military-style. It's Confederate military-style tombstone.
Like the one we showed just then.
Oh, that's it.
That's it, yeah.
And it says 34th on it, B Company, and so forth like that. We'd like to know who put it up. It'd be nice to know who actually paid for it. Did the family pay for it? Did a Civil War Confederate group, Sons of Confederacy or somebody like that, pay for it? Where did it come from? If the family done it, that how families are. If a Civil War organization done it, then where's the paperwork? Where's the
muster rolls?
Muster rolls. Where's the proof?
Yeah.
Where is the proof that Jim Vance served in a Confederate unit, much less Logan Wildcats, much less
the legit Logan Wildcats.
The legit Logan Wildcats.
Yeah.
After all these years, when Sheila and I, we started writing our first book probably 25 years ago, maybe even longer. And that's this one here, and this is our 5th edition. and we have none for sale. We're actually working on a 6th edition that will be out next year, because we found some more things and that we want to put in there. During all of our research, and we've been through every courthouse, every library from here to Eastern Kentucky, looking at microfilm, just anything, courthouses, and we never run up on no military records for Jim Vance. Now, don't think we haven't looked, just like Devil Lance or anybody else. That would be a person that you would look for, and we did. Nothing. And as of one of these papers had a date on it, and I was just looking yesterday. I'm not going to go through trying to find it, but it was updated. This paper here was in June of 2023. Well, this is July of 23. So just a month ago it was updated, and a whole bunch of information was put in there. A whole bunch. He was sergeant, the date that he joined, the date he was promoted to sergeant, the date he signed the oath of amnesty, all these different things. They're all written in here on Wikitree, and she's going to show you in a minute. But you know, it's not hard to enter things into Wikitree or Wikipedia. It's not hard to enter stuff like that. You just enter it, and it stays there. And that's what somebody has done here. They have on Jim Vance. You can hold that over there. Show it a little bit. You guys can Google that, and the same thing will come up for you. Show it up and down, wide, and so they can see it if they want to pause their TV, or if they want to pause their computer, and you can see what we've underlined, what we've marked.
Yep.
What's called our attention. You got a second page there.
Oh, thank you. Here, start at the top for you so you can
things that you see marked, and they can.
Let me do this.
And guys, when you go to look at this stuff, just Google James Vance, Hatfield McCoy feud, and it'll come up, or Wikitree. And when it comes up, read this stuff, because that's what we're going to go over right now. I want to go over some things with you.
Okay.
But first I want to show you this gentleman that was doing the video yesterday. He goes back up to Jim Vance's grave. Now, he's been up there back in the fall. And, I'm sorry?
Yeah, that's what he said earlier.
And he goes back because they told him the new tombstone was there. And while he's there, he holds this picture right here up. He holds that picture up, and you'll notice, I think it's up in the, is it top right or top left there?
Left here.
Top
right.
left-hand corner there.
There. I'll show you that.
And here's your blow-up of it. And that's the Logan Wildcats. That's a blow-up of the Logan Wildcats. Now, guys, we know that the Logan Wildcats, the real, the authentic Logan Wildcats were the 36th, 9th, or the 36th D Company. Now they're saying Jim Vance belonged to the 34th. But this gentleman holds up his picture here symbolizing Logan Wildcats. Again, there was two Logan Wildcats. There was the authentic group. Sheila, we done a video on it before. If you really want to know about the Logan Wildcats, go look at that video. We've got a board on the other side, and we covered it, how they came about their name, who they were, and we also covered the imaginary Logan Wildcats, Devil Lance Hatfield's so-called Logan Wildcats, what they named themselves after they deserted to act like they were still in the war and under color of the Civil War.
Okay.
The I don't even know where to start, really. There's just we're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
We're overwhelmed with what's been said here. Let's just start with the Wikitree.
Yeah. Right.
And it says here, James M. Vance Sr., 1832, 1888. Now, as you're listening to this guy up there, he reads some of this stuff off. You can hear him reading, and what he's giving you is what's been printed on Wikitree. What somebody has put in here is what he's reading to you. So now somebody has wrote this in the history, and now he's reading it to you in the history, so he's speaking it. So everything that you're going to hear, or that when you watch his video, or if you probably already have, because they get a whole lot more views than we do, and that's great.
That's right.
If they could only just do the right thing and give out the good stories, the correct stories. Because we'll never be able to correct with our few viewers that we've got and with all they got, we're never going to be able to catch up. Maybe one day, maybe 10 years from now, somebody starts doing some research and they say, hey, look what I found. That was wrong what I heard before. But until you guys start sharing our videos and getting them out there where other people can see, then, we're up against a brick wall. But here's the story. James Vance, son of Joseph Hatfield. Now, she showed this to you, and it's gonna be on your paper where you can see it, or you can Google it.
Yeah.
Son of Joseph Hatfield.
Yeah.
Let's go down here. Biography. James Vance was born out of wedlock in May of 1832 in Tazewell County, Virginia. His father was John Furrell. Up here it says his father's Joseph Hatfield. Down here his father's John Furrell. Like I said, that's why we ask everybody to take DNA, so everybody will know who these families are and what happened in the past or didn't happen.
And it also says that his father was unknown in another one.
Yeah. Here's one where it says, Sheila,
Sorry.
father unknown. Now,
Right there.
what does that have to do with anything on what we're discussing with the tombstone? I'm building the case. I'm just leading up. I'm showing you things that's been written in the history here, that if that's not confusing enough to you, that Joseph Hatfield was his father, John Furrell was his father, and then here his father's unknown. So it's not hard to say that nobody knows who Jim Vance's father really was.
That's confusing.
That's why we need DNAs of children, grandchildren, people like that. It says here, guys, that it tells when he served, tells when he got promoted. You got your camera on the thing.
Yeah.
Bring that with me here.
Okay, where are we going?
We're going over here to this wall. I'll cover a couple of things over here so we don't have to keep coming back.
That's okay. We'll do whatever. It's all good. No worries.
Guys, there's nothing better than Civil War records for proof and for documentation.
That's right.
Civil War records from Civil War organizations, authentic organizations, not what we're going to show you here in a minute that somebody has set up on the internet where you can type in your stuff and send them a picture and they'll say that this person done this or that. We're talking about Civil War records like Devil Ance's records here, where he was a private. We're talking about where his hide. We're talking about his desertion. We're talking about Ellison Hatfield. This is Civil War records that is authenticated. This is Ephraim Hatfield's oath of amnesty that he took. And that is proof that the man served. There's his rank of private. There's his desertion papers where Ephraim Hatfield also deserted. But it doesn't matter about all that today. Today's video is about proof of what people did. And there's no better proof than Civil War records from a Civil War organization, authenticated government Civil War records. Now, come down here, Sheila. I'm going to show you something, guys.
Okay.
I just seen it when we was walking through here. Here's what's happening today. All the records dealing with the Civil War, with Jim Vance, with Devil Anse Hatfield, they're out there. Over the years, people's found them. They're out there. What you're finding nowadays, these new tombstones coming up, these new records, these new newspapers. Look at this newspaper. Insert your headline here.
Wow.
They'll let you put any headline of any newspaper you want. They'll put any date you want. You send them your $29 or whatever it is. We done a video on this. I think it's in the shorts, and you can look at that.
Yeah,
But-
the computers today are so advanced that you can do anything with them, really.
That's exactly right. She'll get back in her spot.
Okay, I thought she was gonna show something else, sorry.
Now, what I'm getting to here is, in this paper, the 34th Battalion, formerly the 1st Battalion, Virginia Mounted Rifles, was organized in December 1862. See, we have discussed that once before. We don't care when something was discovered or went into, we don't care. That doesn't prove. The United States Marine Corps, birthday is November the 10th, 1775. I went in November of 1975. It doesn't matter when something was organized or invented or anything. It's when you were in there and the proof that you was in there. I've got an honorable discharge over there on the wall where I was in and honorably discharged when my time was up. By these people telling you when this started, when that started, who was in charge of this unit, who was in charge, that doesn't tell you nothing. That's a smoke screen. It's not hard. You can go to any Civil War record and you can Google it, and you can go on here and look. West Virginia and the Civil War, all you gotta do is Google that. That's okay. But it will tell you who is in the 34th, who was in charge of the 34th. So it's not hard to say who would have been in charge of this person had he been in the Civil War. Now, again, let's clarify. There's never been a record that we have ever seen where Jim Vance was ever in the military, ever in the Civil War, until a couple of days ago. And a couple of days ago, after this came out, we start looking, and look what shows up on WikiTree site.
Yep, James Vance, Sergeant.
James Vance. Now, Sheila found something interesting here with this story, and this is how people in police work. You look for different things and follow the leads, and somewhere in here Sheila found where this gentleman who put this stuff in there on the internet, he says that,
Look at this one here in front of you, baby.
let me let you look.
Say it's there. Right here, where,
Go ahead.
where he serves.
Go ahead and show that. I want to and tell the story.
This is from the Wikipedia that I found, and it says that he had served alongside his two uncles, Richard Vance and Elijah Vance. But when I searched Company B and found that, it only had Jim or James Vance there, not his two uncles.
Now that story says that he served with his two uncles,
Alongside his
but yet his uncle's not on there. The only one on there is Jim Vance. So ever who doctored this, if it's been doctored, and we feel it has because we've never found this before, but they forgot to put the two uncles' names on there. So how can you serve with these two guys when their names wasn't on the same unit? They forgot to go that far. They added James Vance, Sergeant, but they didn't add. Now let's go through this. I'm hoping you can see. Can you see that, Sheila?
Yeah, I can see it okay.
WikiTree. I'm just going to show you all. There's his father, Joseph. There's where they say his father was a furl somewhere down through here. But I'm going to click right here, and you can too at home. Click on post-Civil War. And after you click on that, scroll down, and Oh, Sheila, I went to the wrong
It's,
thing.
you went to the
It's
wrong
on the
thing.
first
It should-
page, ain't it?
Yes, it's Civil War. It's in this section right here. No, right here.
Okay. Well, don't make it so bad.
There you go.
Go. Guys, can you see that? That's on the main page, and it says he was a sergeant, promoted to sergeant February the 1st of 1863, but yet there's no, I'm sorry, I'm so close to
You're
that
close
mic.
and you're loud. It's
Yeah.
okay.
There's no record. Why did they put this in writing here instead of just posting his promotion? Post his. We got Civil War records over where people was corporals and sergeants. Says he was promoted February 63. Says he entered on 4th of May 1862. Assigned to Major William Stratton's Company B. Well, Major William Stratton is on that paper I showed you a while ago that anybody can look up Civil War and you can find out who was in charge of Logan County or what part, and you can put that man's name on there. That's not what I'm wanting to show you. Right now, he says he served alongside his uncles. Let's see who he served with. Here's one uncle. Watch me click on it. Richard Vance. He served with Richard Vance. Really? Really, guys?
You see the dates there, guys?
Can you see the date of birth and the date of his death? About 1850. Born in 1792 and died in 1850. Civil War was April of 1861, April 1865. This man was dead. This man never served in the Civil War. It never happened. So, I mean, and you guys wonder sometimes why I get irritated. Let's go to Elijah. He says he served with Elijah Vance, ever who wrote this up. Elijah died in 1875. So he very well could have, he was alive during the Civil War, but let's see how old Elijah would have been.
You gonna do it?
Let's do 1861 minus 1803.
Can they see that? I can't see what it says. 1861 minus 1803.
The man's 58 years old at the beginning of the Civil War.
Yeah, that's pretty.
So, I mean, is it possible that he served in the Civil War? It's possible, but not probable. And it's he definitely didn't serve. Well, he didn't serve with Jim Vance because Jim Vance didn't serve, period. But he didn't serve with this unit. If Jim Vance, or if there was a Jim Vance, but there's not. Somebody's added that name.
Yep.
Now let me show you how you do this stuff, okay? I'm probably skipping some other stuff, but I'm not gonna follow my draft.
That's okay.
I want to show you something here. This is a Civil War site. And that's what it looks like. I blew it up a little bit so the pictures are distorted.
That's all right.
But she'll show it to you after I read it. But let's read this. Just a couple of lines.
Okay.
I've been doing Civil War research, working on this Civil War site for over 15 years, this gentleman says. I receive a lot of information and pictures from soldiers from a lot of people. I have counted the soldiers and headstone pictures, but I haven't counted the soldiers and headstone pictures, but I have at least 35,000. This guy's something like us. He's a collector.
Yeah.
We collect Hatfield McCoy. He collects Civil War pictures and tombstones, things like that. He don't care where they come from, don't care how authenticated. He doesn't question that. He just wants to see how many he can get. Let's see the bottom line on the next page. When I run across headstones for the soldiers, they will be listed on the page with the link of the unit they are in. So this guy says when he runs across headstones, when he runs across Civil War headstones, that he's going to put their pictures and the unit that they served in, the headstone there,
Okay, I'll find it.
he's going to add that picture to his website. So all you need to do, if you wanted to put Fred McCoy in the Civil War, is go get a headstone made up like the old Civil War headstones, like Jim Vance has got now, and you take a picture of that with Fred McCoy on there, that he served, he was a captain, and he served with whoever, and you send the picture of that in to this website right here, and this guy here will post that information that you say Fred McCoy served with, and that headstone. That's all you need, a picture of a headstone. So that's why all of a sudden we come up with a picture of Jim Vance. He's got a military headstone now, just like Devil Anse. been a captain, and forevermore he's there. 150 years that monument's been there. Be there for 150, unless 150 more, unless the world comes to an end. Same way with Jim Vance. It'll be there when we're all long gone. And our children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren is going to go up there and see that one day, or see a story on some movie. And they'll say, wow, that guy was in the Civil War. That guy never served, guys. That guy was a killer. Now, I ain't going to say I respect him because he's a killer, but I respect him a lot more than I do coward Devil Lance, because he did fight. Him and Cap Hatfield fought. Well, Cap fought until he run in the woods there, but let's move on. When you submit any information for me to add to the Civil War section, please submit the state, whether you are submitting it from the north or the south. Also, if you have any information on that unit that I can list, please let me know, and I will add the information. Also, if you would like to submit someone else's picture during the Civil War, feel free to do that. Now, I'm going to let Sheila hold that up there.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and talk, but she can just hold up there for a second. You can freeze frame. That is a website on the internet that you can go to and post your Civil War pictures, Civil War tombstones, and this gentleman will add it to his website. That's his hobby. It's legitimate. He's got him a legitimate website, and he likes keeping up with Civil War stuff. Now, the bad thing about it is, this gentleman does not authenticate anything. He doesn't authenticate. When they send him that picture of Jim Vance's tombstone right there, he doesn't authenticate that. He just sees that Jim Vance or James Vance says he was in the 34th B Company and he was a sergeant. Hogwash. Hogwash. What doesn't help any is when people that does have, and listen, I'm not getting down on people. I know sometimes it may sound like I am. This man seems like a nice enough guy. We have no animosity toward him at all.
None whatsoever.
He's got a little bit aggravated at us a couple of times because we've corrected a couple of things, but this is a gentleman that said that Devil Lance died with $5 million. And Devil Lance was a whole lot better off than Randall McCoy and all that. Like, we're not denying that. I'm not trying to compare apples and oranges, but the man did not have $1 million, much less $5 million. That's nonsense, and we corrected it. Well, we asked for proof. We asked for bank records, wills, anything at all to show where the money went. It's not there. It never was there. But when you show a picture like this on your YouTube channel, now there's a difference in YouTubers and historians. People that loves history. Sheila and I love history. We especially love Civil War history, and we even more love Hatfield McCoy history.
Yeah.
Hatfield McCoy history involves Vances, Chambers, Mounces, Wallaces, all Smiths. Who?
Mayhorns.
Mayhorns. Good. I mean, all these people were involved in the Hatfield McCoy feud. And to these people here, they're YouTubers. I'm not going to say they're trying to be historians, but if you're just a YouTuber and you want to make a YouTube video, then that's fine. But when you show things, and you know, here's your comment that was made. Let me find it here so I'll get it straight. You'll understand a little bit better. I don't have to find it. Let's just talk about it.
Okay.
He's got these two flags. I'm not going to show that picture again, but along with putting that tombstone on Jim Vance's grave, they put two flags there. Two Confederate flags.
Like we got back in
there. The battle flag, it's called.
Yeah.
The battle flag right up here is one too.
Oh yeah. I don't know if they can see it that well, but it's up there.
They put two little battle flags that you can get at any novelty store for 25 to 50 cents. And they pushed them into the ground on each side of the tombstone. And this gentleman, this YouTuber, he says, well, there's Jim Vance's tombstone. I've got the exact words. I hate to quote somebody without being correct, but he says, there's his tombstone and there's his flags. That proves it right there that Jim Vance served in the 34th in the Confederate Army. And that proves you had 50 cents to go buy 2 Confederate flags. So it's definitely incorrect.
Yeah.
You know, there's another place where he says, this gentleman does, he says that
What you looking for? Maybe I
here's
can find it.
the one and only.
Yeah.
Here's the one and only Jim Vance. And see, that couldn't be further from the truth, because there was actually 3 Jim Vances.
Be in this stuff here, right?
I don't think so. It don't matter. They can look. They can Google this stuff. It's mostly in that Wicca tree stuff that they can look at. When you're trying to find things, you know how you
Sorry,
never
guys.
can find it when you go.
We had a
looking
land
for it.
here, but
Anyway, there's actually 3 Jim Vances. There's the Jim Vance. There's his son, James Vance Jr., which was known as Jim. And then James Vance Jr. had a son, and he named him James Vance. And they called him Jim. He died in 1978, I think it was. He would have died the same year as Willis Hatfield. So, once again, on this video that we're discussing, everything you see or hear is not the truth. And when you put things on a WikiTree page and it tells you all this information, first of all, he's got at least three dads here. But you got 3 different fathers, or you don't know who the father is, then it makes it a little bit messed up. Now, in one of his things here, he gives, well, on the page you can hit source. He's got a page there. I don't know who done this. I've seen 2 or 3 names, and I'm afraid to say anybody because I'll probably get the wrong one.
right.
But you can go to WikiTree, but he's got a page there that says sources. You can go to the source page, and when you go to the source page, when you click on it, it's going to take you to a membership page. Okay.
Yep.
It's going to take you to a membership page. It's blank. You don't get to see nothing. You can click on anything down through there other than Tom Dodson. Now, when you click on the Hatfield-McCoy feud after Kevin Costner, Rescue in History, Tom Dodson book, it'll come up. And Tom Dodson, him and Altina Waller, I don't know what their goal was in life, but I swear between the 2 of them, they have confused and gave people more. Let me explain to you something. 900-page book, the camera kicked off, but just because it's in a book, guys, I don't care if it's Sheila and my book. Just because it's in a book doesn't make it true. Look at these books, research these books, question these books. Just because Tom Dodson wrote a book or has a website with all this stuff on there doesn't make it true. Just like WikiTree, they've got all this stuff here, but it's not true. And what I would ask for, and what you should be asking for, is where are the muster rolls? It says here that Jim Vance was 5'11", that he was an engineer, that it was, and this is on his emancipation. Well, wouldn't it be nice to see that? Don't tell me what it says. I'd like to see when he was promoted to sergeant. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see when his emancipation papers where he signed them. Did he sign them, or did he put an X because he couldn't write? Well, he had to be able to write because he's an engineer, they've wrote on here. They also put in here that he didn't even hang with Devil Anse Hatfield. He wasn't in the feud. He never killed Asa Harmon McCoy. He was never at the cabin burning. He had nothing to do with it. Sarah McCoy saw him face to face when he was beating her with the butt of his rifle. All the witnesses in court, Cotton Top and all of them, talked about Bad Jim being with him. This person, ever who this is, it's called a cleanup job. I mean, guys, I know we can't believe some of the yellow journalism back in the day of the newspapers, but this here was wrote on June something of this year. Today's July the 12th, 15th, something like that. This was wrote last month of 2023. owned all kinds of property, constable, justice of the peace. Now you got to understand, there's 3 James Vances over the years. 3 James Vances, at least 3.
Plus, it says he's 27 there when he signed the amnesty oath or something, and actually he was 33.
Yeah.
I subtracted the years of when he signed it from when he was
You
born.
can show that again.
Let's see, where's it at?
Second paragraph.
Right here, got it. Right here, guys, where my finger is, my thumb. There, you can read all of that, but then if you look right here, it says he's 27. But if you do the math
At the top.
on that, up here, it says if you take 18, I can't read it from here.
It's okay.
Yeah, anyway, look at that, do it, and you'll see that he's 33. Sorry,
Sure.
guys.
No, that's good. That's good. He was 1865 to 1832. He would have been 33 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But ever who put this stuff into history, ever who wrote it into history says that
He's
Jim
20
Vance was 27 years old
Mm-hmm.
in April of 1865 when he signed the amnesty oath.
Right.
So once again, I know it sounds like we're beating a dead horse, and we hate that.
Yeah.
But here's you another one, Family Tree. This is on Family Tree, where you can Google and it takes you there and it shows you the 34th and it shows you different units.
Okay.
Now,
Hey.
what we wanted to get to, we've got off on 2 different videos, really. We was going to do one on the YouTube video where he was showing this picture as Logan Wildcats. In fact, in Wickettree, ever who wrote that, ever who's cleaning up after Jim Vance and trying to act like he was the church boy, the choir boy, they say he was never into Logan Wildcats. Well, he was never in the authenticated Logan Wildcats, but he did belong to Devil Ance's Logan Wildcats. But when you show things like that and you put somebody's picture with something, people watching these videos, they think
Implies.
that it's for the truth, that it's for real. When you show this picture and you're talking about Jim Vance like this other gentleman was doing, people automatically assume that Jim Vance was in this picture. Well, Jim Vance couldn't have been in that picture. Sheila, why?
Because he is already deceased.
This picture was taken in 1900, it says, at the reunion, 1900. Jim Vance was killed in 1888. So the YouTuber maybe should have picked up on that. He could have made a comment on that and explained. Here's another thing. As you're reading Wikipedia, this just happens to be at my foot on the bottom of this cabinet. He says in here that Jim Vance was a friend of Asa Harmon McCoy, and he wouldn't have harmed Asa Harmon McCoy. You can look at Martha Klein's pension papers, and you'll see. Guys, here's Martha Klein's pension papers, and it says that Asa Harmon was discharged on December the 24th, 1864 at Catlettsburg, Kentucky, re-enlisted and sent home on furlough. He was killed by rebels while on his way back to the regiment. Now, Martha McCoy, Asa McCoy's widow, signed that. And he's exactly right. He signed it. There's all their children. And we put it better in the video yesterday. In fact, we made a video on this if you'll go back through Sheila's videos. Martha McCoy's got a bunch of children to raise. She's got those children there, and then
She has one on the way there. She's pregnant with Nancy at the time.
she's pregnant. She's got one in her belly, Nancy. After Asa come home, she got pregnant, so Nancy wasn't born until after her dad was dead.
Right.
And they come to her, and in order to get her pension, she had to say that Asa was killed on his way back. Asa was mustered out. He was already out. But they didn't want people charged with murder. How you can charge people with murder during a war? You can't. You're in a war. But when a man has been mustered out and he's already discharged and you kill him, then that would be murder. That wouldn't have nothing to do with the war. All she was wanting, just like people cheats on food stamps, cheats on their taxes, people don't always tell the truth. And that's what she's doing. She's trying to get any kind of money at all to come in
Just
to raise all those kids there. You can hold that over there.
Yeah, she had to do it to support her family.
So,
You know?
they make a point in there and they say that she says that they were killed by rebel soldiers. That's good. Guys, guess who were rebel soldiers back then? Or supposedly, or imitating Devil Anse Hatfield and Jim Vance. They were imitating the Logan Wildcats, the real Logan Wildcats. So, once again, we're just trying to clear this up. There's going to be another segment to this video. We're not done with this one. I know people don't like part 1 and 2 and all that, but I don't want to make it real long for you. But if you want to finish up, because the gentleman says a few more things during his story on the YouTube channel that's incorrect. And while we're at it, we might as well just cover that. And like I said, it does give us material to cover. It gives us something to come back to you about, and it gives us corrections to make, because that's what keeping it real is all about. Now, while we're keeping it real, if we say anything that's not correct, please let us know. And you prove it to us. Prove us that we're correct,
Right.
that we're incorrect. You know, like I said, when we first started, people would call up or text and they'd say, I seen in a book where Devil Anse was a captain. We're beyond that. You're going to have to show us muster rolls, commissions, rank commissions. And I seen a lady the other day on a Facebook page, and I didn't have intention to do this, but kudos to you. Kudos. Because I don't know if it's got anything to do with Sheila's videos or not, but these people's on there bragging on Captain Anse Hatfield, Captain Anse Hatfield, Captain Anse. This lady says, real nice, real polite, nothing like Fred McCoy. I wish I was like that, but I'm not. And she says real nicely, she types and says, has anyone ever found the commission to captain paperwork for Anderson Hatfield over the years? That's all she said. Of course, zero responses. Nobody, they didn't respond good or bad. They just let her, they don't want to advertise that. They don't want that out there. Be easy to find. If it's out there, it'd be easy to find. It's in Civil War records. It's funny, we can find everything else. Guys, it's Fred and Sheila McCoy. Sheila, I know I'm leaving some stuff out, but if you don't care, we'll get it on the second video.
Okay.
Do you want to say anything other than usual?
Finish up? Okay.
No, I'm just asking, is there anything we need to put on this, or just add it on to the next video?
We can add it on the next video if we left anything out, but I don't think we've left anything out.
Oh, yeah, I've left some
Well,
stuff
I mean,
out.
what you've covered so far is good.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
saying.
Yeah,
So
well,
I think
what
need
we've
to-
covered so far is factual.
Yeah.
Or at least to the point that we could figure it out.
Right, because a lot of that was contradicting itself on the same thing.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
page, so.
And again, kudos to Sheila, because Sheila really got into this, and when she started seeing the different dates and started seeing where he served with his uncles, but yet his uncles are not on the roster.
Yeah.
And then when she checked out the uncles, and one of them's almost 60 years old at the beginning of the Civil War, and the other one has died 12 years before the Civil War. I don't think he served with that one for sure.
Yeah.
The one that's 60. But you guys can see our frustration. And then when she found the other page there, the Civil War page, the website where it says, hey, come to this, and you can send us any pictures or any tombstones. And guys, that's a good point. The reason for this tombstone, why put a tombstone up there? Well, once you put a tombstone up there, it gives it credibility. That tombstone gives Jim Vance credibility that he served. Now, you got to understand that, how much time are we on, I wonder?
You can look at the top.
Okay,
And see.
she's going to stop this video, and we're going to start the next one out. So if you want a real good thing here,
tuned.
that just stay tuned. That just came to mind. Stay tuned.
Okay.
All right, Sheila.
Please like, subscribe, and share. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you, guys.